Bora lá, galera. Primal Down. Bunny versus Holla. Holla trazendo Imug mesmo depois dos nerfs aí da Great Sword, né, mano? Interessante a gente ver. Vamos esperar que ele consiga algum resultado com aquela quantidade de nerfs que a arma teve, né, mano? Ou não também. Player de Great Sword merece nada, sacanagem. Enfim, pessoal, não se esqueça que eu criei um novo canal, tá? Pra postar vídeo de vários jogos pra vocês, vou estar no comentário fixado. E eu também tô fazendo conteúdo de react pra vocês nas minhas redes sociais. Eles estão. Vídeos se saindo muito bem, então não se esquece de ir lá seguir no Instagram, TikTok, ou até no YouTube mesmo, Lynxwagner Vlogs. Mano, teve uns vídeos lá que pegaram umas views meio bizarras. Eu fiquei assustado até, mas não se esquece de ir lá seguir, tá? Tudo no comentário fixado. Bora lá. Assim, dois players conhecidos muito bem pelos Legends que eles estão jogando neste exato momento, tá? Holla mais pela Great Sword, claro que antes só vinha Jaeyan em relação à Great Sword, aí ele está tentando trazer a Great Sword com o Imug, né? Já a Bunny é sempre trazendo o Rayman desde que eu conheço ela como player, né? Então, sem nenhuma mudança, apesar dos nerfs aí que teve na Gauntlets, né? A gente já viu que alguns players estão dropando Gauntlets, alguns não, né? A gente viu o Balloon Boy e o Snowy, né, trocando aí, tirando a sua Gauntlets pra escolher outra arma, né, mano? Enfim. Mas vamos ver como é que. Olha só, porque a partida já tá meio discrepante aqui, velho.
Money now could be at a great advantage, but Bunny
so
is
smart.
chasing him off stage, hounding after him. About 2 minutes in, Bunny is at quite the lead. Stocks 3 red to 1 white. This is looking like a disastrous first game for Money. While Bunny, we have to be very careful saying these names. They're very similar in sound, but still, Bunny is at quite a tasty lead. Money back on the greatsword though. They make it back.
That's a big open up there. And okay, I like that for Holla that time. Saying, okay, I'm not going to respect you because last time I respected your edge guard. I kind of got put on a milk carton there. I mean, I don't know exactly how Bunny just keeps reading Holla like that, but this time instead, you're looking a lot better. Not on a milk carton, on a t-shirt is what I meant to say. But nonetheless, Holla now fighting back versus Bunny. Bunny gets a dash jump nair there, weapon toss as well. Holla looking for that poke with that side light. But a lot of these options are a lot more punishable. You see there a clear example of the nerfs that able to get a side air there to punish that. A nice little 3-3 string though for some extra damage. And another string and dodges through the finisher. Gets the down air. Weapon toss.
A partida foi bem definitiva, né, mano? Vamos esperar que Holla consiga dar uma reagida.
Yeah, that was really kind of on full display here. It changed too much, especially considering that we're on mod.
Bora lá nesse mapinha novamente. Não novamente nesse mapa, porque, enfim, a partida anterior, set anterior jogaram nesse mapa, né? Enfim.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, one of the tougher draws to make it into top 8. Somebody that's really proficient on a legend that's so good at punishing laggier options, and a player in general who's good at doing so. But I think, to be the benefit of the doubt here, I think that Mos Eisley can definitely be a good option as well for Holla, who looks to have a slightly larger blast zones and a little bit more time to kind of cook, especially with such a big stage and that soft platform, giving you a little bit of reprieve versus the gauntlets specifically. Holla was struggling, especially in the corner versus the gauntlets, as Bunny keeps getting these nairs and ground pounds. Holla in a bad spot. The weapon toss comes out. Bunny tries to dodge there and bait out an option. Holla flips it, and now Bunny in a terrible spot. Goes for the down air, looks for a recovery there. That might have been a nair. That might have found the true confirm, a classic use option, for example. But a haymaker comes in.
Caraca, foi tentar trocar de arma ali, não rola não.
And Bunny takes the stock in a very funny fashion.
Money chasing for the stock, and by God, does he find it. Playing much better this game, gotta say. I don't really know what it is, but he's able to slow down the game. Bunny is really kind of less on his tail, and maybe it's because he's throwing out a few more of these signatures and, you know, throwing a few more side lights, throwing out a few more disjointed attacks, trying to create some more space, making Bunny really respect kind of the turtle's personal space. So I don't know what Money is really doing, but so far the game is moving a bit slower. Bunny's yet to find any of these huge commits, and I don't know. Sometimes with a lot of times, a lot of stakes, the first game really is just a warm up, and you play the next 3 like your life depends on it. And so far, that could be just Money's playing right here. Great sword against Axe. The Sair finds its lane. An end light to push further off stage. Money uses a dodge, but can't convert off of the landing dare, so the side stick punishes.
A lot of down six for Money Holla, an option that we saw a lot in the 2v2 space to get off the platform. If it's Bunny, slide off the platform, land on the ground with the down stick, but Bunny avoids it, and now Money Holla sends Bunny in a bad spot, but can't commit going off stage. The down light comes in, but that's most icely for you. It takes you the stars, and you won't get KO'd. Weapon toss there from Bunny. Now Money Holla having the weapon advantage, just needs a recovery, just needs an air, needs a side air, needs something. Bunny gets back to the stage, picks up the weapon,
nice.
but the weapon toss unarmed recovery will do it for Money Holla. Trading away his signature weapon for a chance to get that conversion into that unarmed KO. Bunny right back into the action, though, looking to even up. The ground pound sends it far away. Money Holla will definitely survive that weak hitbox, but that GCN light will seal away that stock for Bunny. Money Holla, Bunny, last stock situation. Bunny, though, has a game lead here, so you're definitely happy that this game's going so close as Bunny. Uh-oh, this is bad. Going for the ground pound there, too, to get as far away from the wall as possible. Bunny going a little bit too ham off stage, throws the weapon in an attempt to call out Money Holla, either throwing out a hitbox or trying to jump or recover back to the wall. Money Holla holds the weapon, though, has the advantage. No dodge for Bunny. That's a
Leitura grande.
No side air, though. That could have been curtains for the game for Money Holla there, but unfortunately not finding the right conversion.
Bunny, side air. First side air misses, second side air lands. We're getting closer to a sudden death game here. About a good 3-4 minutes in. Money's able to land the clash, but Bunny's able to reset her jumps, but a weapon throw is going to send her further into the abyss. The nair to cover her head, but doesn't have the time to recover back to stage. Money is able to respond back. One, the blast zones on Mos Eisley are very far away.
Bora lá. Eu ia falar que pode ser a partida definitiva, mas Money Holla ganhou no anterior, eu fiquei meio confuso. Mas enfim, bora lá, terceira partida.
Bunny is not really able to find these huge commits. She's not able to find these big ground pounds, these big Sairs, these big GCN lights. She's not able to find anything. If anything, Money is now finding a bit more of these bigger commits. Bunny's getting less of these punishes. This is, Money is so far in very good control at game 3-2. Now that we're back on Mos Eisley, Bunny is having a very hard time finding her way into Money's space.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree, and that's just kind of the benefit of playing on a stage, especially like Mos Eisley. You have a lot of range to move around and kind of keep your opponent at bay. But Bunny going for a crazy option there, or just going for the slide charge. N-Sig there to call out Money Holla jumping back to the stage. Nice avoidance on that sider. Bunny going for the GC down sig. I like these attempts from Bunny, but I think we have to start realizing that the wall is just too big on Mos Eisley. It's just not worth going off stage, especially when you go for those very aggressive options that give Money Holla, that inch he needs to take a mile. Nice string there, getting some damage to juggle as well, setting upwards with that upwards finisher. Bunny dodging through, gets the D-Light into the ground pound, unarmed, end light as well to cover Money Holla's landing option. Picks up some gauntlets, makes it look easy, gets the recovery there. Not enough to KO though, as Money Holla the chance to get some more extra credit on the stock, walks up with that unarmed end light, but not looking to make anything too crazy happen with the unarmed. As I say that, getting an end light into recovery as well as another end light. Money Holla is feeling it a little bit here, doesn't even want to pick up a weapon, realizing that maybe the greatsword is going to get cycled back at the end of the stock, so saying, you know what, I'm willing to take this hand versus axe, and that is going to be punished with that down sig. Sends through the soft platform, sends downwards to the depths, and now Bunny with an opportunity to weapon star Money Holla gauntlets into unarmed, but so much damage done for Money Holla on that previous stock will make it very hard for Bunny to get back in this game. Gets a 3-piece string. Money Holla looking confident with this 2-stock lead.
Yeah, Money doesn't even have to slow down the game to get this to work. Bunny is just having a very hard time finding her way in. Money is just playing this game. I'm trying to look closely and see if I can figure out what it is, but I'm even having a hard time deciphering it. Money is just playing good old fighting games. Bunny is having a very hard time getting some of these more explosive hits that we know and love her for, that you kind of really, we both talked about, that we talked about earlier on, is even able to react to the N-Sig coming out. Very impressive to have that fast reaction times. Punish with a dare. Some slick movement trying to get an unarmed nair. However, Money has to use a dodge to evade a weapon throw, and the side light comes through. Money's able to punish with a nair yet again. The great sword combos come out a bit further. Bunny steps in with her own end light, trying to send off stage. Bunny is at risk of falling out of this game and going down to a 1-2 in the set very soon, but is still able to grab another stock before on her way out, and maybe so hopefully extend this stock a bit longer. Bunny can still win this. It's just going to be very, very difficult when Money is in full control of the game right now. 2-1 guarantee.
Vamos lá. Nossa senhora. O Templo do Ar. Esse mapa é chatinho. Essas plataformas se movendo, elas atrapalham um pouco.
Bunny starting the game off actually pretty strong, landing a few hits of her own, but Money responds back. Bunny creates some landing space, landing dare. Money is actually fully respecting this new map, not trying to get too ahead of himself. I have a lot of respect for that. Money's being too careful, thinking like, oh, you know, this is a new environment. I can't try the same old tricks. Maybe this is different. Money's gonna try something new. I can't be too confident. So I actually have a lot of respect for the way that Money is playing right now, and also is still in some pretty good control of the game, as he has a pretty good damage lead against this Rayman. But still, Money is playing a bit better this game. And so far, actually, like you said, Money's playing a very grounded way, but Bunny is still playing a bit of a grounded way, even though she gets that first stock taken. This grounded little playstyle from Bunny is looking a bit better than it has been the past game or two. So maybe she's learning to play Money's game against him and beat him at it too. But she's gonna have to be off stage to try and recover back from this ledge guard. Takes a few hits on her way back. Can she steal this edge guard? Maybe. Looking like it. Unarmed though. This is tough.
Oh, you have to avoid that as Money Holla. You have to avoid the down tick. You have to avoid those ground pounds in there. Bunny keeping the corner to Money Holla, but not swinging on that end light. Finally gets the end light and misses. Jumps back, side airs Money Holla back off stage. Bunny doesn't commit to the offstage play. The thing that made Money such a common, occurrence in top 8. Not going for that option though, respecting Money Holla's recovery. Playing into a lot slower gameplay, going for the GC side tick. It doesn't KO, neither does that end light though. And Money Holla fights his way back to stage, goes for the nair there. Bunny avoiding it, stacking on top of Money Holla. The pressure is too much. Bunny takes the first stock off of Money Holla, but Money Holla having about 75 to 80 damage of a lead onto Bunny. Landing back down, getting the unarmed nair, picking up a great sword. Looking tough now.
Bunny at risk of falling down to bracket stock. Keep in mind, this is to see if Money can close out at 3.
O problema de jogar contra Great Sword é isso, né? Você nunca sabe quando ele vai terminar a terceira parte do combo. A Bunny tentou um wake up ali de GC com alguma coisa que eu não consegui ver direito. Mas o Money Holla simplesmente seguiu pra terceira parte do combo, tá ligado? Mano, muito insano.
Further into the winner's bracket, and Bunny, like we praised Money for, is also starting to play a bit more careful, trying to be trying to fight quite a few more things, maybe playing a bit more airborne here, maybe playing a bit more grounded here. Bunny is really trying to explore her options, and weapon starving an off-stage unarmed Money is going to be a great option to pick. With the side sig, that's the second or third time she's thrown that out, and it hasn't quite found its mark. However, this is a very similar situation we saw Bunny in earlier, where Money is in a damage lead, but still very, very close to being knocked out of the stock. So Bunny has to try and find the KO without taking too much extra credit, without taking too much hurt. And so far, it's looking like a bit of a similar story. Money was able to get a decent bit of chip damage, a decent bit of extra credit before Bunny was able to finally revoke that stock away from him. Bunny just now has to damage out even out the game and hopefully win a sudden death. So this is really, really starting to become a very perilous task for Bunny to try and come back from. Can this Rayman clutch this out? Final success that they found in this first game, or is Money going to dare and stare and nair and share his way into a 3-1, running out of options? Bunny has to touch back into stage. This is not looking good for the Rayman, Puff.
It's looking tough, but that nair into the GC end light will find its mark. And now Money Holla realizing that you're one hit away, but that is not the hit. It takes the down light, isn't either. I completely capped. It's 3.
Mano, comparado com a primeira partida, Money Holla tá conseguindo jogar muito melhor, tá ligado? A primeira partida foi tipo GG pra Bunny, tá ligado? E GG agora pro Money Holla, bizarro, né? Doideira. Pro player se adapta muito bem, né? É isso, pessoal. Não esquece de ver minhas redes sociais e o canal novo no comentário fixado, tá bom? Um grande beijo aí. Até o próximo vídeo. Tchau, tchau.